This is MacReview Weekly for Saturday, December 4th, 2010, eating apple noodles. Today we are with Joseph Huckabee, Canadian diva, and of course your host, Super PC, to bring you tons of awesome Mac info and tips you may have not known before. Stay tuned to hear an awesome Mac podcast, and we stream live now every Friday or Saturday, but of course you can follow us on Twitter to find out. We are at MacReview Weekly on Twitter, at fancyshowtech.tv/live. Let's begin the podcast now. Hey everyone. Today we're going to talk about Dropbox with Joseph Huckabee and Jesse, Canadian diva. I hope it's recording that. Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
It's pretty good.
What's up, guys?
First of all, let's make the background topic. It'll be Dropbox, definitely. So,
oh yeah, because
I
love it.
found this utility. Well, actually, I've been using it for a long while, thanks to Joseph Huckabee, which is in the call with us. It's Grabbox. It lets you take screenshots of your screen and send it to Dropbox. Only on Mac, though, so you PC guys, sorry. What do you guys?
Yeah, sorry.
Are you?
So for those of you listening, and watching who don't know what Dropbox is, what planet are you from? But seriously, Dropbox is a free service that allows you to basically have your own repository of files and directories up to 2 gigabytes for free that is hosted out in the cloud, and you can upload and download files to and from your Dropbox from your Mac or your PC. So this utility has been around for a few years now. You're right. Thank you. And your iOS device as well. And people have started building on top of this. I know. I'll never forget it again. Believe me. I have Dropbox on both my iPad and my iPhone. Believe me, I know.
So do I.
It's there.
I have an iPod.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, it has an iPad. There's an iPad Dropbox app as well.
Guess what?
But
yes, I love it.
Guys,
yeah,
hey, I use Grabbox all the time. I'm either twittering or giving links to Joseph Huckabee because him and I, we recently, how many views Fancy Show Tech has been getting? I don't want to brag or anything, but it's been a lot. And we had to switch to a VPS because our shared hosting servers were getting overloaded. And we were being threatened to be being kicked off. Not threatened, more like we're using about half their CPU at least at sometimes. And we need to switch, right, Joseph Huckabee?
That's right. That's right. And now you have your own private server where you can run anything you want, and it's still a virtual server in a data center.
Yeah, Tyler Black,
yeah, very cool.
Yahoo host. Yahoo's a really good host. Use the link on fancyshowtech.tv. That helps us out, and that will help you. Use the coupon code FancyShowTech at checkout. I'm not sure if that works with VPSs or not. I'm not sure. Or anything you get from Yahoo host. So anyways, what else? Is there any other tools for Dropbox that you guys recommend?
There are. I do. There are. There's actually quite a few. So let me just go down a few of the cool things you can do with Dropbox. So Dropbox, people have started building utilities and applications that use it and are sort of wrapped around it. Because Dropbox has an API that people can hook into and build apps around it. And that's what Grabbox does that Super PC was just talking about. So Grabbox, which is also free, by the way, will automatically intercept whenever you take a screenshot of your Mac, automatically move the screenshot into your Dropbox public folder, and then copy a link to your clipboard all automatically. So it's really useful. So taking that one step further, your Dropbox only exists in one folder on your Mac or your PC. It's called the Dropbox folder. And then in that folder, there's a public folder where things can be publicly accessible. But a lot of the times, you have a file somewhere else on your Mac. You might have a file in your music folder, or you might have a file in your photos folder. Well, let's say you wanted to immediately upload that file to your Dropbox and copy a link and paste it to somebody who you're chatting with. Do you want to actually have to go find that file, drag it over, open your Dropbox folder, open your public folder, drag the file over, wait for it to finish, right-click, do copy public link? That's like 7 different steps. So I found this really cool utility that's totally free, and it isn't even an extension. It uses the macOS Automator system, which is built into Leopard and Snow Leopard. So here's how it works. You install a workflow into a special folder on your Mac, and I'll put the link in the show notes so everyone can find where this is. It adds an item to the contextual menu of every file you click on in the Finder. So you right-click on any file, no matter where it is, no matter what hard drive it's on, and you'll see copy to Dropbox and move to Dropbox in that right-click menu. So with one click, you can move any file or copy any file to your Dropbox. It also goes right into the public folder, and it copies a link to the clipboard. So it's basically Grabbox, like we were talking about before, but for any file anywhere on your Mac. So it's very cool, and it's free, and it's not even an extension. It's an automator workflow.
That's pretty cool. So you use Dropbox?
I am in love with that.
Awesome.
That sounds like the coolest thing ever.
You guys are funny.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll send you the link so you can check it out. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. So, anyways, hey, Canadian TV, you have any programs you want to mention?
I don't know. I was thinking, what could I mention this week? And nothing's really jumped out at me this week. So I think that you guys can just keep going because, yeah, you're on a roll with Dropbox.
Okay, that's good. So, anyways, now I think we should discuss something else. Recently, I got a Mac Mini, thanks to Joseph Huckabee again, an older one, a Mac Mini G4, and I'm using it as a file server with a 1 terabyte external USB hard drive. We're going to go over how to do that today. The live viewers will get to see my screen, but I'll describe it step by step for anyone watching who is not live. Do you think we should do it, you guys?
Sure.
Sure, go step by step.
Okay, great. Let me bring up my desk. Meanwhile, you guys, if you want to talk about something while I'm doing this, you could. Totally. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me jump in. While you're doing that, let me just say one more thing on the Dropbox topic because Dropbox is so cool.
All right. It is.
One thing that people are doing, it is really cool. It is really cool. By the way, all three of us use Dropbox, and Dropbox has a free 2 gigabyte repository, but you can also upgrade to 50 gigabytes, and I believe it's pretty inexpensive too. It's not that expensive, so you can get a very large repository, and some people have started using it for backups. And then I found that there's actually a pretty cool trick you can do. As you know, Apple has products in iLife, including iTunes and iPhoto. And both of those have a local library of all your music and all your photos, but it lives on your local internal hard disk. So what happens if you have multiple Macs in your house and you want to be able to synchronize automatically your iTunes music library or your iPhoto library between all your Macs? So the trick is to use Dropbox. And what you can do is when you go into your home directory and then you go into the music folder or you go into the photos folder, you'll see a file or folder that says iTunes Music or it says iPhoto Library, one of those two things, and that's your library containing all your music and all your photos. You can turn those into what are called symbolic links or aliases, and that means it's kind of a pointer that points to a different spot on the disk, so you can have the library live in another place. Well, that other place can be your Dropbox folder. So if you link your iTunes Music library and your iPhoto library into your Dropbox, it instantly becomes shared across all your Macs in the house. So that's really powerful,
awesome.
And it's also free.
Hey, you guys, now I'm ready to start showing you how to do that. I bring up system preferences because there's a feature for this built into Mac OS X that you can easily take advantage of that can be used across Windows and Macs. I did something on this, and I've done things like this before, but I want to show you guys now. So first, make sure you have System Preferences open. And then in System Preferences, you have to go to Sharing under Internet and Wireless category. Now this tutorial is for Mac OS X 10.6, but it's pretty much the same on all the Macs since 10.4. Wouldn't you say that?
I think they changed the wording slightly, but it's still essentially the same instructions. Yeah, keep going.
But anyways, I have right now, you have to check these two boxes, Screen Sharing and File Sharing. Screen Sharing you don't have to have, but it's a pretty cool thing to have, because then you share your screen across the network. You just gotta know your computer's IP address, which I'll show you how to get another time. And file sharing shares your files across the network. That's basically what that does.
Yep, and you can also turn on Windows sharing inside the file sharing option. So if you have a Windows PC, you can connect to your Mac and vice versa. So Mac has support for both, Apple's file sharing protocol and what's called SMB or Windows file sharing protocol.
And basically in file sharing, your shared folders are showed there, but a lot of times if you connect with your username and password to that computer, you can see the hard drive and everything. You just gotta remember to connect with that username and password. And on Windows, I'm not sure how it works, but you just have to check, where is it? I don't know if it's on the new version of Mac. You just got other options, I think. It's in options on the new versions of Mac, but in Tiger, it's a whole separate thing. I have a Tiger computer next to me. That's what the Mac Mini is I'm going to be using. Let me bring up sharing in that and see what it comes up as. It comes up as Windows sharing on that. But you just click as on, and you enable file sharing using SMP, which I'm not going to do, but this is the box you have to check. Share files and folders using SMB Windows. Or you could always enable FTP server too. So I think we've went over that enough. Anyone have anything to throw out there?
Sure, I have one other thing I'd like to talk about today. And you just actually touched on it for a second there, Super PC. You said FTP server. Every Mac comes with its own FTP server, which you can turn on. And that's useful because it's a very common protocol, and you can get FTP applications on Windows, Mac, and Linux to connect and share files. But along those lines, a lot of people have their own website, and they often have either their own server out there somewhere, server at their house, or they have a shared host where they have to upload files to. So FTP becomes a really common operation for lots of people. And the thing is, with FTP programs, normally it's a separate app that opens up. It has a window, you connect, and you can manage files, but sometimes it's difficult to drag files around and upload huge amounts of files and stuff like that. And that's because it's a separate application that you have to get used to. And a lot of the free ones aren't that well made, and the user interface isn't all that good. So I found a really cool technique which allows you to connect to any FTP server, or SFTP, which is the new secure FTP protocol, which actually mounts it on your Mac's desktop. So what this means is, instead of opening an app and connecting to a server and having a whole different interface, the Finder actually mounts the FTP server just as if you plugged it into your Mac as a USB keychain hard drive or something like that. And that's cool because you can just drag files over to it, drag files off it, including whole directories, and you can open files directly in a local editor. So if you have like a text editor or Photoshop or any type of app that you're doing editing on your website, you can edit the files right on your live FTP server using this technique. And it's totally free. It uses open source code. There's a utility called MacReview, which allows your Mac to understand other types of file systems like Unix file systems and whatnot. And then there's an app which mounts the drives, and that's called Mac Fusion app. And I'll put the links in the show notes to both of these so you can check them out. They're both free and allow you to, with ease, access your FTP servers right on your Mac's desktop.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so amazingly cool.
Totally awesome.
Wow.
That'd be awesome because
Awesome, dude.
Oh, sorry.
It's awesome. It's epic, you guys. It's epic.
Yeah, I think we said epic
It
enough.
certainly is.
So, yeah. If anyone new is watching who just saw my Twitter or something about it or something, we're not anything like Mac, like Breaker Weekly, like Leo does, so I don't want to mention much about that. We are our own podcast for live viewers. We aren't anything other than that, right? We're our own thing.
But we do love Leo.
We talk all about Macs.
We do love Leo, yes.
You bet we do watch I'll watch Leo, some form of him. Whether it's Mac Break Weekly, the Tech Guy, Twit, or anything else. Sometimes we even watch Tech News Today. We got
Or
two
Heaven
do.
videos.
I do
forbid,
all
well,
the
I
time.
never do, but some people watch Windows Weekly. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes I do occasionally, because it's a little fascinating, but not that much. I always realize my errors in my ways after I watch that. So anyway,
Yeah, I
Good.
think it's interesting. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I want to do a review of the new mid-2010 iMac. Mine's running i7, so my review might be a little bit better than most of people's because it's a customized one. Courtesy sponsored by Effect Games and Joseph Huckabee. Thanks to both. This
You're welcome.
iMac is aluminum, which makes it so awesome looking on your desk. It's like if you're an alien from 1965 and you came into the future, you'd see this aluminum box that glows and you're really wondering, what the heck is this? Well, it's an iMac.
1965?
I know, that would be kind of weird though. You
Oh,
came from 1965.
That wasn't
So-
very long ago.
I know, but they didn't have computers like this back then. I'm talking about people from 1965.
No, but it's just a lot. I mean, like,
No,
Yeah.
our
keep going,
parents
keep
were
going.
born in 1965.
Were any of us alive in 1965?
No,
Okay then, so why are you saying it's not that long
But our
ago?
par-
It is for us.
our
'cause we
parents
never-
were.
That's true.
Anyway, keep going.
So, anyways, so I recommend something called, basically, it's Odyssey. It's an awesome audio editing for Windows and Mac, but honestly, I think it's awesome for Mac. GarageBand's awesome for instruments, but it's awesome for, podcasts like this. In fact, that's what I'm using right now to record. So, it's basically really awesome. You can cut things out. It's like seamless audio editing. Like, for example, a lot of times where Canadian Deef or Orchards Fuckabee aren't saying anything. Last week we didn't have him on. Or when I don't say anything, I cut it out so it seems like we're constantly going. We're constantly actually have something to say instead of half the time being silent. And it's kind of cool for that. It makes us sound great.
Hey,
And
I have a question about that quickly. And maybe you can tell me after, I don't know, but is there a way to jump through a file in Audacity so that you can, like, you don't have to listen to the whole thing and, like, you know?
There's ways to jump through, but you'd have to know the program to know how. But it's pretty easy once it's actually shown to you. I'll show it to you after the show. But it's a very awesome application. You should totally download it. I think it's the first result on Google. Just search up AUDACITY. Again.
Yeah, I've used Audacity before too. It's an awesome free audio editor, and I believe you can just click in the waveform, and it places the cue point there, and then you can hit spacebar and it plays from that point. So yes. I believe it's really easy to move the playhead around.
I've been playing with it all afternoon, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've used it. I'm sure we can help you with that, for sure.
For sure. No, just kidding. Not
for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
So can I plug? Super PC, are you done with your review of the iMac?
Yep. I give it 10 out of 10
all right.
stars. You'll see a review of Fancy Show Tech. It's probably going to be out by the time this recording is out, which is probably going to be sometime. Oh, wait, no, it won't be. Probably not, actually. So,
cool.
Why don't you guys tell us what computers you have, or say something else?
Sure, I have, well, I'll tell about, I have a Core 2 Duo MacBook Pro 17-inch that I love. It's a great machine. The screen isn't nearly as bright as the new i3, i7, and i5 MacBook Pros that you can get today. So I'm definitely thinking about upgrading soon. And also the i7 processor, which Super PC has in his iMac, is just incredible. It's so fast. It's monumentally faster than the Core 2 Duos. I mean, noticeably faster in everything. Starting up the machine, launching apps.
I was going to say,
launching Photoshop
open right now, and I don't even notice it. Most people, like, on older computers, it, like, slows it all down even if you're not doing anything. I don't even notice it's open. And I've
open. Exactly.
I'm so jealous.
Don't worry. Sooner or later, we'll all have them. In a few years, it'll be pretty common. But by then, applications will probably take more resources, so it'll be probably as slow as this Core 2 Duos, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's always seems to be the case. It's like every time the processors get faster, they find ways to slow down the applications and make them more...
I know, once in a while, I need to stop improving applications, just keep making processors faster and faster instead of improving applications, then they start improving applications later. Well, do different things, but not things that take up all the RAM. Just please, developers, I'm talking to you guys, developers, and talking to Joseph Huckabee. Please don't make your applications take up a ton of RAM for the next few years, please. So we can at least or make them less intensive on resources.
Exactly. Like,
absolutely.
iTunes. I love me some iTunes.
We're looking at you, Apple.
We love you, but seriously?
Yeah, it's very true. And the good news is developers are more and more looking at mobile devices to port their apps over to and from. So a lot of people are making, iOS apps and iPad apps, and sometimes they'll port those back over to the Mac and the new Mac App Store coming in OS Lion later next year. Yay. So that's good news because there's very limited RAM in the iPhone and the iPad. So developers have to be very careful to use it wisely, and that's good because that translates into a Mac app that also is very good on RAM usage.
Yep.
Exactly. That's going to be super awesome. I'm so stoked about the Mac App Store.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be like
wonderful.
A great way for us to find like so many new apps.
I know. It'll be kind of locked down iPhone store, but it's still kind of awesome at the same time. We all did that same thing on the Mac. It'll be out in probably less than a month. I hope that they're probably going to get out by Christmas, and they'll probably be featuring apps as gifts, just in time for the holidays.
All right, well, I have just one last item of interest for the MacReview podcast, and it's backup software. And I know Leo always talks about backup software and how important it is, and he plugs his sponsor Carbonite, which is a good service. But what I use is I use selective backup on Dropbox. Obviously, I have a lot of files on my Dropbox, but then I also use an external hard drive. But the question is, how do you get your files onto your external hard drive, and how do you do a update to the backup? You don't want to copy all the files over again. So there's a lot of backup applications that allow you to do this. And there's one free one that I recommend because it's built right on top of a Unix utility that I've used for years called rsync. And the app is called rsync, like the pirate R. It's ARR sync. And It's cool because it takes a look at your files anywhere on your hard disk, and you can give it multiple different folders to sync, and you give it a destination on a remote hard disk or a USB hard disk, and it only copies over changed files, so it's very efficient. So what I do is every week or so, I plug in my external hard drive, run rsync. It takes just a few minutes because it only copies over changed files. And then I have a complete copy of all my documents of music and photos and movies and TV shows on an external drive. And it gives me peace of mind. And then my very important files I have on Dropbox, so they're on the cloud. But I don't actually pay for a service. I don't pay for Carbonite or anything like that because there's as long as you keep multiple backups in multiple different places, you're pretty safe. What do you two use for your backup solutions?
Honestly, I should probably get better at this because I don't have any backups. But I'm going to be using the MacReview external hard drive because I honestly don't trust Carbonite because once, even though Leo recommends them, they probably are good. They lost 7,000 backups in server problems. They should have backups at the backups, I would think.
That's right.
So I don't trust them. I think if they lose 7,000 customers' backups, you better hope there's none of those customers had hard drive problems that day, or else they'd be really angry at you. Because then they have no file to access. It's like gone from the server, be like, huh, where'd it go? Where'd all my files go?
Yep, you're trusting somebody else to run their. Yeah.
Sure, you pay money,
but
how good of a service are they? You know, you don't actually know how good they are, or if they're going to come through. Anytime they could suddenly go down and never come back up. Even though Carbonite probably not do that, you never know. Could be anyone.
Yep. You should never trust your files to one single backup. You should always have multiple.
Agreed.
Cool.
Always backup, kids. And
something like that. Hey, does anyone see my screensaver? I turned on my Mac Mini again. Actually, I turned it on myself because I just want to see it because it's kind of cool Matrix looking.
Which one is it? Is it one of the built-in screensavers?
I found it on Apple's website. It's like a Matrix screensaver. It looks
interesting.
Cool. Makes a computer
I think I know which one you're talking about, yeah.
Looks like it's on some Matrix grid or something. The Matrix is
awesome.
Anyone have anything else to say?
I don't have anything else on my list about things for this week, but let's see.
I think we can.
I was thinking. I'm sorry. What were we gonna say?
Oh, I just said I think we've covered a very wide variety of topics from ramen noodles to Dropbox to
IMAX. And Joseph Huckabee, don't you have something to review? Like, do you have a new Mac Mini or something? I heard you did.
I do have a new Mac Mini. Sure, I can give a quick review of that.
Okay.
I just bought a new 2010 Mac Mini for a very specific purpose. I didn't just buy it for a normal computer. I bought it for a home entertainment center computer, so it's hooked directly up to my HD TV with HDMI. So the new Mac Minis that Apple produced this year have an HDMI port built in. And the cool thing about this is that the HDMI port, when you hook it up to your TV, it automatically sets the resolution exactly what it should be. So it's basically, I believe, 1920 by 1080 for your TV. So it's 16 by 9. And the HDMI port contains audio. So the audio goes over the same port right into your home theater TV and connects to your speakers and everything else you have in your living room. So it's a really interesting home theater option. And what I do is I watch Leo on Twit and I watch Super PC on his stream right on my living room TV. I just open up the webpage and click the full screen option in the Ustream Flash movie or Justin TV for Leo Laporte. And you can watch live streams on your home TV using a Mac Mini. So it works really well. And
awesome.
One more quick plug. Yeah, it's really cool. So one thing I use is you might asking, how do I control it? If the Mac Mini is way across the room and I'm over here on the couch, how do I control it? Well, two different ways. I have a remote keyboard, a wireless keyboard, and a wireless trackpad, which I can use. However, I'm usually sitting in front of my laptop on the couch or on my chair. So I have this free tool called Teleport. It's an extension you install on your Mac, and then you install it on the Mac Mini, and it allows you to beam your mouse cursor over to the other screen. So the Mac Mini running on my TV becomes a second screen, and I can control it with my own keyboard and mouse. It's very cool, and it's free. It's called Teleport. I'll put a link to it in the show notes for those who are interested.
Okay. I think I should mention a few more things. I have this totally awesome screensaver. Apple is a good resource for screensavers. If you go to screensavers, it'll give you like the option. I think somewhere on here. I can't remember where I can add. but I clicked somewhere and it let me get to apple.com and choose screensaver. I never shut the Mac Mini down, but I must have canceled that screensaver website because it's not up anymore. So, anyone want to say something who's talking now? Joseph Huckabee or Canadian Diva on the podcast?
I think that's all I had for this week's podcast. I can't think of anything else unless I did some more research online, but that would take a while.
Okay.
Exactly. I think we're done.
Well, I have some after work to do. I need to talk with Joseph Huckabee a little bit on Skype. So thanks for watching. Bye, guys. Peace out.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace out.
Thanks, Canadian Diva.
Bye.
You just listened to the MacReview Weekly Podcast, which remember, all show notes you can find at fantasyshowtech.tv/MacReview. And if you have anything you want us to review on the show, email macreview@fantasyshowtech.tv and we'll be sure to put it in if we like it. Thanks for watching.